people can go into this vicious cycle where they will get financial abundance and then it won't make them happy. And they will say, well, now I want more. I want a bigger car, a bigger house, a private jet, a boat. And it's like, yeah, you can get stuck in that for the rest of your life. And it will never be enough. You will fly to the moon and it will still not be enough. So having the courage to sit with yourself and have these very deep questions of like, yeah, you can still enjoy financial abundance, but like, what is the ultimate goal? Why am I here? You know, that is kind of like the journey I've been on since my early 20s. Yeah,
I absolutely love that you mentioned everything important in just one answer. So I'm lost where which topic am I going to take? I want to take them all. Let's just pick the best order. So if you don't mind, let's explore your hunger for freedom.
Yeah.
So it looks like you had it as a child. It was one of the important motivators for starting a business. 100%, so this freedom thing clearly was in you from the beginning. So when you achieved this financial freedom early on, and you mentioned gratitude, did you realize that you finally had it, or you wanted more of it? You started thinking about it differently. How your dream of freedom changed once you could actually afford anything you wanted?
It's a deep question, actually. Nobody has asked me this before, and I've been asked many questions that makes me even question that, because it's like basically what you're asking me is that about my relationship with freedom and how it evolved as I got more freedom. Such an important question. And I think one thing I want to mention, and it's a new insight that I got about freedom, because I had this conversation with two friends who are both from Germany. So they grew up with very different upbringing where they've had a lot of freedom. Like as kids, they were able to travel anywhere in the world. And one of their top values was actually safety. So I'm like, it's fascinating, because for me, I had the opposite upbringing, because growing up in Azerbaijan, couldn't go anywhere, like really wanted to have that freedom. So I think ultimately that, again, the upbringing is so crucial, and like always looking at like our early childhood years, because it can explain why we have certain values as well. Now, how did my relationship change once I attained freedom? I also realized there's probably such thing as too much freedom as well.
Exactly.
And sometimes stability is also really important, and it can be very overwhelming to have too much freedom, because when we first started our business, one of our biggest inspiration was Timothy Ferriss, who wrote the book, The 4-Hour Workweek. It was truly inspiring to read his book when we didn't know anyone who was doing this type of lifestyle, which was like this. Basically, you can do your business anywhere in the world, you can travel, and you have this ultimate luxury of like doing whatever you want with your time anywhere you want in the world. And having all these case studies that he presented in the book made it really real for us, that even though we don't know these people personally, if they can do it, we can do it. And that served as an ultimate inspiration. And yet, when we achieved that very much early on in our business, I think literally before we even made our first 10,000, we already booked our flight to south of France, and spent the month there, then went to Paris, then like in that first year we lived in Costa Rica, in the States. So like we moved around a lot, and we quickly realized that actually we need a bit of stability. We need to have like at least a base where we are, and then we can travel. But even in a way, travel lost its meaning if you're not doing it with purpose. So I love that you asked that question, because I think I even myself, I need to still reflect on that relationship I had with freedom, because I love that word and I'm so, in a way, attached to it. But if I do reflect on my life, it's freedom within boundaries as well. And then it's more enjoyable, right? Because if it's too much, it can be overwhelming. And I found myself feeling so overwhelmed, like, yes, I can go anywhere. But when you can travel anywhere, unless you have a community of like-minded people whenever you're traveling, it's like nobody can relate to your experience, right? Like it's only exciting to be a tourist in a city for a few days, and then what, right? Like, again, unless you have a community, you're aimlessly like just doing this thing. And I'm sure maybe some people can do that, but I feel like it's a very small percentage of people who could do it sustainably over a long period of time.